On average, there is 3.6 million evictions in the United States every year, with the most evictions being in South Carolina and Virginia, and the least evictions being in Minnesota. I just want to talk today about the eviction process. I've made a video in the past about it, but I got an update after going to court, and just wanted to help other investors out with my experience. So, in Indiana, they do offer counsel to the tenant that is being evicted, which I'm completely fine with. I mean, I would prefer them to know the law as well as anybody. They also counseled me on some things. So, started out, you have the eviction court date. So we did the court date. I was pulled out of the courtroom by the counsel. I guess it's like a state appointed counsel, whatever. He kind of told me, hey, the tenant's not gonna be able to pay. They want more time in the house. I told them they've already lived there basically for free for 3 months, and I couldn't do much more than the judge explained to us in the beginning that they was going to start doing evictions on December 4th. So I kind of watched a few of the cases as they do them publicly in the courtroom, and I seen that she was kind of going in between what the landlord was ready for eviction and the tenant was ready for eviction. So I decided, I will give the my tenant till the 13th of December. So I sent them an extra 9 days to find other living situation. So I also agreed with her if she could pay what she owed, or we could come to an agreement that she could stay till at least the end of the month. And it's not the 13th yet, so I don't believe that's going to happen. I haven't really heard anything, but so in that case, the eviction process will be at like 6 o'clock on the 13th of December. So we'll go in there and we'll get that unit turned. Hopefully we don't have, I don't foresee any issues with the tenant leaving. In the case that there was, you have a month to contact the courts to have the tenant removed by the courts. But we go with that, and then they've already set a court date in April. You go back for financial and damages. So whatever the tenant owes, plus if there's any damages to the property. Once again, I don't foresee any damages in the property. I think the tenant just fell on some hard financial times and wasn't able to make it happen. And trust me, eviction was not my first option. I get the tenant opportunities to leave and different payment plans and different things that we could do to avoid the eviction. I don't want to see anybody losing their place of where they live. So unfortunately, evictions is what it comes down to. This is my first eviction. I really would love for it to be my last eviction. There's still time on the table, so I will update you if the eviction does get finalized on the 13th and the tenant moves out, and we'll go from there. But overall, I felt like the judge was pretty fair to the tenant and the landlord. She brought everybody up and just basically said, are you delinquent? In the case, the 5 or 6 cases that I saw, everybody said yeah, and didn't really argue the point. So I really can't give you the perspective that the tenant tried to argue. The only thing is guys, if you are filing an eviction based just on not paying rent, make sure when you file that eviction that you're filing the right eviction. Because there was a guy in there, he actually told his tenant not to pay rent, or he could evict him based on not paying rent, which is kind of crazy. But the landlord wanted to kick him out because he had behavior problems. And that's a whole nother situation. The landlord was completely wrong for trying to tell him not to pay before he can evict him. So the judge acknowledged that. The judge said, hey, you're going to have to amend this eviction, and I think it's going to take him another 2 months to come back from eviction court. Now, I'm no judge. The tenant did seem a little unhinged. He wanted to argue immediately, And the council and the judge said this ain't happening, so shut that down really quickly. Like I said, she was kind of meeting in the middle as far as evicting the tenant. Now, some of the things I did notice, even though tenants wanted to stay, when they found out they was getting evicted, they would start talking about how bad their conditions was. Once again, the eviction judge explained this was not the court for that. So make sure, you're in the right court for the right thing. So she just cut that clearly. The guy said he wanted to stay, but there was sewage in the basement. I don't know. That's disgusting. Landlords definitely should not be slumlords, and make sure that they have a livable condition. I will say, on behalf of the tenants, at least here in Indianapolis, if you go to the trustee's office, there are programs and things put in place to help you pay for rent. And I think for the most part, most landlords would be more than happy to work with you in them programs. I really don't feel like anybody wants eviction on either side. So, if you do get behind and you're a tenant, talk to your landlord, see if you can have some type of resolution to it. I know I would work with any of my tenants as far as working things out. Now, backs up against the wall, you do have to file eviction sometimes, and you do have to go through all the different points. But I just want to get this information out there just as much for home providers / landlords / tenants. There always is a better way. And just make sure. And another thing I was really surprised about is a lot of the landlords and the tenants didn't even have leases in place. So landlords, tenants, make sure you got all your paperwork right on both sides. That way when you do go to court, you know exactly what the argument is on either side. I found that was very weird that neither side was even if I originally signed a lease and it goes past the date, I write in my leases that they go from a month to month. So that's always an option. And I think that I figured that's where most people went, but I guess some of these people are just literally like, here's a deposit, move in. That's kind of crazy on each side. And unfortunately, probably why they ended up in the eviction. One person just paid their deposit and literally never paid again, and they was in the eviction court. And I've seen some people up to $5,000 and $6,000 behind, and some people as little as 1 month behind, like $750, $800. One lesson I will tell you I learned: my tenant owes me in the sums of almost $4,000, and I should have did the eviction a long time ago. And me wanting to help is going to hurt me financially, and I'll recover from it, but there's only so much you can do. So I will screen my tenants better. Oh, and I will add, this tenant was probably my best tenant for 10 months, and in the last 3 or 4 months just completely stopped paying, unfortunately. And I wish the best to them as far as future housing and future anything. So I really have no hard feelings for them in that sense. But I'll make a part 2 of this video after the 13th, whether we get everything resolved and they get to stay in the unit, or if we do the eviction, we have to go in and we'll do the turn on the unit, get it cleaned up, and get it rented back. So if you guys got any more questions about evictions, about real estate, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Leave me a comment. Just ask me what's going on. I know that a lot of times I get a little bit of a hate comment in here. Everybody has their own opinion. So, leave your opinion. Let me know what's going on. What's your experience with evictions? Until then, I'll put some more videos out, and hopefully, if you're looking to be a real estate investor, hopefully I brought some value. If you're a tenant, hopefully I solved some problems with you about maybe working with your home provider. So just remember, Follow Dot does real estate.